Hey guys, quick announcement. I've decided to retire from the sport formally, not formally, known as mixed martial art today. I wish all my old colleagues well going forward in competition. I now join me former partners on this venture already in retirement. Proper pina coladas on me, yeah? Yeah, fellas. Thus spoke Conor McGregor, and thus retired Conor McGregor from the sport formerly, I don't even know anymore. It's formerly known as MMA. But did he? So, this was the tweet bomb McGregor dropped on March 26, I believe it was last Wednesday, shaking up the Twitter sphere, garnering 85,000 tweets, a significant figure actually, which I'll get onto a bit more later. Not as many as you would have expected for such a shock tweet. You know, his previous retirement hit like double, I think, and became the biggest sporting tweet of the year. And I do believe that is relevant here in our discussion on Monsieur Conor McGregor. Alright, so, as you probably know by now, the tweet was a hoax, a trick, a hype thing to try to, get the UFC. It was a bargaining power tool to get the UFC to give him more money for his next fight. Now, when the tweet dropped, to be honest, I believed it. I could believe it this time. I was surprised that everyone was like, it's just a ploy. Okay, they've been proven right. But this time, compared to the 2016 retirement, a lot of things have changed. The paradigm has shifted. First, he got the money, Mayweather money, he's got the Mayweather money, and his performances and his physique and his desire and all the attributes that he had on the way up have diminished significantly. So I could believe that he doesn't want to fight anymore. As Dana White keeps saying, since the Mayweather money came in, you have to excuse me, bit of the sniffles, bit of a raspy throat today, but the show must go on, yeah? It's hard to convince a guy to go in and get punched in the face when you're sitting on a bed of $100 million. And, it would explain a lot of the prevaricating that's been going on since the Kabir fight. He's been humming and hawing for a rematch. But then we heard Khabib's manager, that very interesting character, Ali Abdelaziz, say McGregor has never asked for a rematch. That was around late December, early January. And then, we see McGregor on his St. Patrick's Day whirlwind tour of America, up on a bar stool, pretty locked by the looks of things, saying, I definitely want a rematch, there must be a rematch, because he didn't knock me down, he almost put me down. I thought that was pretty hilarious. I mean, the delusion going on there in McGregor's mind. To try to tenuously claim he was anywhere even involved in that fight. Let me get on to the Kabir fight, if I may, for a second. It's a nice little interlude, and again a significant, a nice little segue, should I say. A very relevant factor in this McGregor situation. He was terrible against Kabir, and I can't believe the pass he got on that. People giving him the third round, like people like Brendan Schaub on his fight breakdown, saying, it was neck and neck. Watch it back and take off your McGregor goggles. His stance, his attitude, everything was off. It was nowhere near, it was like a shadow of his former self, nowhere near the great McGregor. For the first time ever, he actually looked nervous. When he comes out and does the Vince McMahon walk and everything, he looked nervous. And I remember hearing the great Ken Early of Second Captains saying that it was like the chickens were coming home to roost, and you could see him like, shit, I've been drinking whiskey for the last 2 weeks, I've been talking smack and heavily disrespecting Khabib, and I think this is going to come back to haunt me now. You could really see that writ large over McGregor's face, I feel. Not just saying that being wise after the event. So, that ties into this whole retirement thing, because even though it will be surprising to see him retire on the back of the loss, it just seems like the hunger's gone out of his belly, and that he doesn't lose that much sleep over it anymore. He's gone quite off the rails. The money has ironically kind of ruined him. All that money he spent, all the years he spent chasing money, chasing it, you know, like a hamster on a wheel. He finally gets it, and it's like a biblical cautionary tale. It then ruins him. More money, more problems. Sloth, gluttony, greed. He exhibits all those deadly sins. I'm not a religious man, but the Bible can be useful for allegories and myths at times, you know, relevant to daily life. So, drank a few coffees this morning, probably going off on a few tangents. I hope I'm still on point, because we're going to get to his Twitter feed now. I hope I've laid out a decent little intro to say that although the tweet was not an official retirement, we now know, because I'm going to read through the next tweets, which you've also read. I'm not trying to make out this is like a live clickbait. I'm just going to read through them for entertainment purposes and trying to learn a bit more of what's going on in McGregor's mind. But I do think it was interesting to say that, yeah, like I could believe it was a real retirement because of the money he's earned now. Back in 2016, don't get it twisted, he still needed to keep fighting. He'd only just lost to Diaz. He'd only just won the featherweight title. I don't think he was on, like, fuck you, grandchildren money by that point. As Brian Clough used to say, fuck you money is money that, you know, means you can just say fuck you to the world. He was wealthy beyond most people's imaginations, but I do think he needed another couple of fights to really solidify and consolidate his fortune. So, let's get on to his tweets and see what's going on, alright? So, on March 30th, which is 2 days ago, yeah, Saturday, he starts tweeting about Jose Aldo and saying that actually it was 12 seconds and not the 13 seconds that we've always talked about. And he's retweeting, like, it's interesting that he retweets like a lot of random, like, Arabic kids and like all his tweeting young American lads who are like imitating him stuff. He used to never do that at all. His Twitter feed used to just be only him, very, you know, well curated and planned out tweets, and now it's just proper 12 retweets. It's a ridiculous looking Twitter handle, to be honest, at this stage, his feed. So, yeah, here's the key line on the Jose Aldo tweet. He said, "I demand that this be corrected to 12 seconds before any more talks commence." So, that's what we needed to hear. That's the proof that he still wants talks to go back. He wants to go back into talks for another fight, but he wants more clout and he wants more glamour attached to him and more respect shown to him for all of his legacy. However, here is the thing. His clout, I hope I'm not sounding like Chael Sonnen. Here's the thing. I think his clout is nowhere near what it used to be for much of the aforementioned reasons. He's going off the rails, his, you know, and the subsequent loss of charm and wit to his delivery and to his aura. His performances, the Mayweather performance, a boxing match granted, and the Kabir performance, like, these greatly diminish his pulling power, alright? So don't give me all this Ariel Helwani nonsense. Oh, the UFC need him. No, they don't need this Conor McGregor. They need the Eddie Alvarez, the Jose Aldo Conor McGregor, the swaggering, you know, testosteronic beast who just came in and took over the place. They don't need the Khabib guy who was drunk at the very least on alcoholic intoxicants. They don't need him by any stretch of imagination. Off the top of my head, let me list you a few more interesting and entertaining fighters at the current moment. Jorge Masvidal took over London, sparking out two English guys on one night and giving us that legendary line, 3-piece and a soda, you know. When did McGregor ever do something like that lately? The last sort of epic thing he did was the Alvarez fight, you know, fight with his hands behind his back, and that was the last we saw of the quotable McGregor. Masvidal, love that guy, right? He's the Pappy of Miami, you know, the way he carries himself, the way he got put down by Till and just got up and fight, game bred. He's been fighting in backyards since he was a little Nino on the Miami streets. Masvidal, Justin Gaethje, you see what he did yesterday to Barboza? Dustin Poirier, still at the peak of his powers. The way he lost to McGregor a few years ago, the way he's recovered from that. Has anyone seen McGregor recover for that long? He recovered from the Diaz defeat, yeah. Barely won the rematch. And then, you know, now he's lost and now he's gone. We see training pictures and we see this and that, but we don't see him desperately trying to get back into that octagon, you know. Holloway. Who else? You know, I've named a couple of fighters there. Anthony Pettis. Did you see the Superman punch to put out Wonderboy? Coming up to welterweight for the first time ever. Pettis is a far superior martial artist to McGregor at the current time. Older than him, fought more, greater legacy. You know, McGregor has produced an amazing legacy, but when we look back now, if he doesn't get back in, there's an element of flash in the pan to it. Never defended belts. Pettis was lightweight champion. Off the top of my head, he must have 4 or 5 good defences. Darren Till, despite a couple of heavy losses, is an exciting guy to watch over the future years now as well. There's a lot of guys in there who will keep the UFC extremely interesting, and then there's always new stars coming along. So, to quote the Joker, R.I.P. From the great late Heath Ledger, the Joker from Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight Rises. Oh, they need you now, but when they don't, they'll throw you out like a leopard. That's, I hope I'm not clapping my hands too much. That's a bit of a thing I need to stop on the YouTube vlogs. So yeah, like, if McGregor shows himself to be a used up, washed up guy who's just concerned by money now and not performing in the cage, they won't care. And like, a lot of these tweets are barely even getting retweets. Like, talk about a proper 12-second demolition job got barely 1,000 retweets. Then the next few got 2.4, 2, and there's an element of it's a little bit pathetic, as Gary Neville once said about Spurs. It's like the retirement tweet got the 85,000, but since then everyone's like, all right, like, should I get off the pot? We don't really care that much if you're just going to keep speaking from a distance and like throwing out these crappy little shots. His shots don't even land on Twitter anymore. You know, he threw one on Kabir yesterday. Oh, let me get to this one, right? Let me get to the Kabir one, because Kabir just owned him, man. Like, he said, your money got took and your brother's eye socket got shook when you fought me, you little rat. Still calling him a Dagestani rat. Still with these like very pejorative racial connotations about Khabib's origins. Like, disgusting behaviour, you know. Khabib just carried himself with such honour and dignity throughout his whole dealing with McGregor. McGregor, like, look back to that pre-fight press conference in the purple suit, acting like a complete and utter clown, a complete and utter monkey, you know, just a suited up monkey acting just ridiculous. So, yeah, let me get to Khabib. Khabib really just shut him up yesterday, and we haven't heard from that since. Khabib said, money comes and goes. Just going to get it here. Money comes and goes. The honour that you lost that night will never return. Let me do a Khabib impression, as I said. Money comes and goes. The honour that you lost that evening will never return. Live with it. Finish career in MMA, but start career on Twitter. What is this? What are you doing, brother? What are you doing, Conor? You drunk Irish man. So, I mean, what a tenuous little crappy shot from McGregor. Still trying to... Okay, he was attacked in the cage. That was messed up. But still trying to, like, claim you won the war because you got one shot in on some guy that jumped the cage. In the 5-round fight, McGregor got completely outclassed from start to finish. Don't give me any 3rd round nonsense when Khabib was just chilling in the pocket and throwing shots at him. Don't give me that. Like, that's not enough. McGregor was supposed to smoke Khabib. Khabib remains undefeated in his MMA career. McGregor has a hell of a lot of losses now, mostly through submission. You know, he now gets... That's a big... I've never stepped in a cage. I can only imagine what it feels like getting your head squeezed off by a Russian who's fought bears his whole life, but the amount of times he submitted does not reflect too well on his heart. A lot of top MMA guys do say that, you know. So, look, let's see what's up over the next few days and weeks. For the moment, he's in Cuba, tweeting pictures of Latina Mott's huge, juicy arses. A very, very interesting picture to post in the context, because I didn't touch on it here. Because for the moment, I don't really know what to say. But he is, yeah. It's not like I'm trying to shy away from him by any stretch of the imagination. But he's, it's been widely reported now all over worldwide media that he is under investigation for sexual assault. relating to an incident which took place in Dublin's Beacon Hotel on the 12th of December, I think. Deafening silence from McGregor on that. It's been the elephant in the room for about 2 months now. Anyone from Ireland knew about this through forums, through word of mouth, at the water cooler, at the pub and whatnot. Dublin's a small place and word gets around. There was word that McGregor was involved in some sort of assault. Now it's formal and nothing has been denied about it. Some spokesperson, how many spokespeople does McGregor have? Some woman who I'd never heard of. As well as there's a guy, Audie, who's his manager. And then he's got another lawyer, like, I don't know, all these people who are just flying out of the woodwork attached to him. Said this is a rumour. They didn't deny it. Maybe that's a legal procedure, you know, it's better not to deny it and just ignore it, because that's how little you think of it. If they think McGregor is innocent. Yeah, people like Chael Sonnen saying that the retirement could have been him just exiting stage left and avoiding smoke for the UFC. But that's now been rubbish, because he's not talking about that, and he's still talking like he's not retired. So I don't know what's going on with this sexual assault case. Still not a word about McGregor from it. Almost a week on. Let's wait and see. No smoke without fire. He has been involved in some misogynistic cases, not cases, but behaviour in the past. I saw Misha Tate talking on an MMA YouTube channel recently, saying like how he was very disrespectful to her with that tweet, quoting that Dr. Dre song, "I Just Want to Fuck," which is a great song, by the way. I just want to fuck you, no touching and rubbing, girl. You got a husband who love you. You gotta give me that quality time. So he was asked about, why am I still talking? Well, hey, he was asked who would he prefer, Ronda Rousey or Misha Tate. Yeah, don't answer. Don't answer. Much less on a public forum about your female colleagues. We all like listening to a bit of Snoop, a bit of Kendrick and whatnot, a bit of rap talk that gets a little bit naughty and frisky in there. But you don't talk about women like that in public forums. You comport yourself in a professional manner. So, you know, he's shown himself to be disrespectful to women in the past. That's all I'm going to say for now. Maybe I'm going off on a tangent. He's innocent until proven guilty on that front. But there's a possibility the retirement tweet was linked to this case. Thank you very much. Without further ado, I forgot to say all the like and subscribe stuff. Very unlikely people have watched this far. Get liking and subscribe to my channel, guys. With this, like, what's the story of my channel getting all these dislikes? Like, let's get this channel going. The Instagram is in full flight now. Get on the channel and give us a like. If you're not mad about my videos for the moment, I'm sorry about all the barbershop videos. I am going to start coming on the regular with talking head, opinion pieces, lifestyle in Thailand, you name it. Let's get the YouTube channel up and running again. Cheers. Subscribe.